Guys, welcome back to another daily tarot card. These are your daily tarot cards for Friday, January 29th, 2021. Today we're pulling from the Wild Unknown tarot cards. So they're highlighting a cycle for us. I feel like this time of peace for us. They had highlighted, kept on saying so you're about to be completed in a cycle. You see that with the moon, it's about completion, that it's no longer going to bother you anymore. And it's not that with myself, my journey of losing my husband, I feel like it's not going to bother anymore, but it's not going to be as debilitating as it was before. So this is the moon is highlighting February 5th through 10th. This day of judgment where you're now going to be free. And I feel like, no longer allowed, I feel like you're the sun. I feel like, you've learned from this lesson that who is privileged enough, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way. Our energy is precious. So who do we so freely give our energy to? And that's, I feel like, learning your value. That, your time, your energy, your love that you put into people, is valuable. And if they're not seeing that and valuing that in a way of respect and being there for you and being a pure person, then it's like, you know what? That's okay. You don't value who I am, and that's totally fine. But, I'm going to take my energy where it deserves to be. So we'll start off with the moon. Dreams and fears. In many ways, the moon card encompasses the idea of the wild unknown. So, with myself, speaking of my journey, when he passed, that was the wild unknown. Because it's like, that time of darkness. Because it's just like, where do we go from here? It is the shadow realm, the place where dreams, fears, and mysteries are born. Much darkness can linger here. And if you aren't careful, this can lead to periods of anxiety and self-doubt. Almost as though you've lost your way in the house of mirrors. So, opening up Pandora's box. This time of where right now we're in the full moon, so we're feeling the energy right now. But then we're going to start, the 5th through the 10th of this waning moon, where it's starting to get slower and slower into the darkness, because we know the new moon, a new cycle is coming. So we'll have that night of darkness. But you also know, as the moon gets more dimmer, the stars are that much more brighter. So, in the one night of darkness, it's like, yeah, it's only for one night. But, we still have the light to look forward to. So we know the very next day, we're going to be blessed with the crescent. And the light will start slowly coming back into our life. It's like any journey when, a dark moment happens. The darkness has happened, and that's okay. We're gonna sit there and we're gonna find our way through it. And you find those people in your tribe that you are able to sit there and call upon in those times. Those are the people you surround yourself with and you give your light to. Many great artisans have roamed this inner landscape. It's where imagination, creativity drift freely upon the midnight air. So they're highlighting, oh gosh, I still can't remember her name. Janis Joplin. Thank you. I knew it was a J name. Janis Joplin. She would sit there and talk about how, she had all the fame, all the fortune, but all she wanted was to be loved. And that's where she would go into her dark side of her head. And everyone's like, how could you be so sad in this time? Look at everything you've accomplished. Look at everything you have achieved. Look at everything you have. Robin Williams said it the best. You could be in a room full of people and still feel lonely as F. So our next card is the sun. And this is where I'm saying, this is yourself, I feel. I feel like you found your value in what you actually bring to this world. And that's beautiful. And that's not in an arrogant, egotistical way like, oh, I'm the queen of the world, be privileged to be in my... No. It's just sitting there saying, you know what, I have a lot to give, and I'm not going to so freely give it to people that don't deserve it. Because when I'm in my dark times, I need people to be that light. I need them to sit there and give me something to look forward to. Vice versa. So that's all it is setting those boundaries. Vitality, enlightenment. Imagine for the moment that you are soaking in the warm rays of the sun. Feel its nourishing and healing. And that's why I love meditating in the sunlight. We're in the we're working like -16, so it's going to be a little cool. I open up the curtains, and when the sun, especially when it's around, 2, 3, from 2 to like 4, it's just beaming in the living room. And it's just like sitting there and meditating in that. It's, oh my gosh, I swear it's like the best thing ever. Especially in the winter, because, we have those days where it's just like not gloom and doom, but it's like, it's a little gray outside. So it'll be nice to have some sun. The sun card brings amazing energies into your life. Vitality, health abound, while you feel assurance, clarity in all you do. So spend some extra time outside today. Be grateful for the radiance of the sun and the life force it gives all creatures. And that's what I've been teaching my eldest. I'm sure my youngest hears me when I talk to him. They both pay attention when I talk to the other. But, waking up with a grateful heart. As soon as I see that glimmer of sun, usually when I start to see the sun come up, especially in the spring, you see all the blue jays and the woodpecker and everything. It's just like you sit there and I watch the sun come up. And what a beautiful, just to see the pinks and the beautiful lilacs and the deep reds and the oranges. That happens in those few minutes when the sun's starting to come up. And it's just being grateful for one to be alive, and that is a gift in itself, going through my journey, that, almost 4 years ago, saying goodbye to him as he went off to work, not knowing that that'd be the last time I would ever, tell him I love him. And at least I got to do that, and in some sense I'm like, I never got to say goodbye. But at the same sense, it's like I did. I made sure his car was started. I made sure he had coffee. I made sure, he had his backpack, his smokes, his wallet, his phone. I took care of him and, started up his car. So, it was all ready for him, and making sure as he backed out, no one would, because they spit down that road, no one would, crash into him as he's, slowly backing out, and he went on his way to work. At least in that moment, it's like I could say in my sense, at least I got that moment, give him a hug, give him a kiss, wish him well on his day. At least in that sense, I got that, I could say that was my goodbye moment. And at least it was at a peaceful time when we were both 100 with each other. You know what I mean? In that moment. So it's like, like I said, I don't have any regret. I gave him my son. I gave him my light. And that's where I find my peace. This judgment. We go to where this beautiful dove is, where they set us free. And to me, that sets me free because I have no regret. So forgiveness. The word judgment conjures up fear, guilt, in many people. This card, however, concerns itself with another aspect of this word, seeking the truth. No more blaming oneself or another. No more excuses. Now is the time for forgiveness and personal freedom. So in that moment, when I was in shock and widow fog and bereavement, trying to help my children, while my head's spinning a mile a minute, being in survivor mode, everything, where are we going to live, this, that, all these many spinning plates, and people in that time putting more and more and more on me, attacking me, as I would say, but finding peace now that it's like they know that they're not going to be part of my light. It took me, 2 years to get out of it, or a year and a half to get out of it, because I finally found my safety and security by the grace of God. And it's like, almost 4 years now, I could sit there and say, I'm back in the light. And this time, setting us free. Where Spirit has said, we're coming to a completed cycle, highlighting the world where this will no longer bother us. Because it's like, I no longer give them power over me. I no longer, I forgive myself, because it's like, realize where your head was at. You're not where you are now, where you're sharp and you can catch on to things. But, shame on them for what they did. But it's like, I'm not going to waste my energy on running them for filth, because I could sit there, crush up that energy, and release it. And now it sets me free, and I could take that energy from that situation and put it into another part of my life, into healing. All the people I do readings for, I could use that energy for them, instead of sitting there wasting it on, the hate. that I have for people in that situation, the resentment that I have for people in that situation. Just crushing it up, and it's like, you know what? I can't change what happened there. They took off their mask, and it was freeing in a way, because it's like, now I know who you are. Right at this moment, I don't have the energy to deal with you, but I'm going to store that back in my safe. And when I'm, coming out of my widow fog, it's like, now you know who is who. Now you know the players on the field. And don't forget that. Keep that in the back of your mind. So when they come around, you're just, you put on your mask, but you know who they are. This card asks you to rise up. Let pettiness and fear fall below you. Expand your wings and be reborn. And this is the time that we're in. You've been going through it. You're about to be reborn. Because now you're in this new, cycle of coming out from whatever it was. And about to see what the world has in store for you. What they had waiting. Unfortunately, it was a setback to what happened, because in that time, I feel like, I do feel like I was reborn, because now it's like, that ain't going to happen. I will help you, but there's a limit to my help. And if I see you abusing it, then I'm going to withdraw my help. And that's learning to value yourself. Expand your wings, be reborn. What a relief it is to be free. You're free. Now you're free from that situation. And, I'm never free from Shane, because I still love Shane. It's not like I sat there and made the choice for this to happen. It happened to us. But it's like, I know as I move forward with the boys, and it's like, even in them, seeing how they're, transforming into gentlemen, transforming into these young, brave men. And they transformed the day that their dad passed, like, no word of a lie. But physically, like, my 10-year-old is almost 5'5", and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, where did this young man come from, But teaching them right. Teaching them, in these times you sit there and be for people, or God forbid if this ever happens again where we lose, like, a grandparent or something, who is there for you and who's there to kick you down. Just be mindful of the players. They learned a lot. Unfortunately, those poor little babies realized who was who. That's the thing. They don't think that's what those people don't realize. It's like, not only did you show me, but you showed those young men. And now those young men have a voice. And those young men are going to be men one day and have a bigger voice. And it's unfortunate, but, you push them too hard, you're going to hear exactly what they have to say. And you ain't going to like it. So we have the world. Wholeness, completion. The world is finally a final card in the journey of the major arcana. You're come to this is it. You've come to the final precipice of whatever this journey was for you. And now you're set free. It signifies completion, harmony, and contentment, because you're content. You've learned everything you had to learn in this situation. As the saying goes, either God is going to teach you how to fly, or he's going to catch you. And you learned how to fly. You learned how to soar. My father used to say it's hard to soar, fly like an eagle when you're soaring with a bunch of turkeys. So eagles are always significant to me. It's rare to experience this energy, as we usually consume by wanting, needing, and achieving, not appreciating what we have. We're always wanting and needing. I want this, I need this, and it's like, be grateful for what you have, and see how your world will explode. So when this card appears, could complete for a moment of the idea of being whole. Contemplate the idea for being whole. Focus on the image on this card. Close your eyes and envision the radiant energy. For me, it's my third eye. What does it feel like? Where is it located? What blocks you from feeling a sense of wholeness each and every day of your life? So even if you don't necessarily like something that's going on, like with me, it's like I had no problem with this place because it gave me my safety and security I was seeking after Shane passed away. It gave me that, routine that I needed, because I'm a person of routine. I'm a person that I like to plan. I like to know where the next, I obviously don't get ahead of myself, but it's like, this is the plan for tomorrow, school, da 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 da, working, da 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 da, like I know what I have to do. I've always been that type of person, even at a job. Once I get my training, I know what I have to do. I like to just come in. I know what I have to do. I know what I have to get done. And that's what I do. And at the end of the day, I could sit there and I'm like, I completed all these tasks and I feel good that I had a productive day. That's just me. I know some days, some blips and blops happen and it's like, what can you do? I did the most I could today, but just being grateful that I have a safe roof over my head where there's no mold, there's no mice. I don't have to worry about the house being sold from underneath us, nothing like that. So it's just like, I didn't like my neighbors, but that has been taken care of. You know what I mean? It's just like being grateful for what we have and, just seeing what unfolds. Because it could be a hidden blessing why certain things happen, So it's just being grateful. I tell my kid, you wake up, you see the sunlight, you say, thank you for another beautiful, blessed day on your beautiful, blessed earth. Thank you for guarding us and protecting us while we were asleep. I always say that every single morning. Having a grateful heart. I'm ready to face a new day, God. I'm ready to learn whatever you have to learn. I'm ready to be the best me I can be today to make you proud. That's how you start today. And that's all you can do. And whatever unfolds, unfolds. And just be appreciative for every day you have. I hope you guys enjoyed these daily tarot cards for Friday, January 29th, 2021. May the universe bless you good. Happy weekend. We'll see you for the next daily tarot card. Bye.